Hi guys, we are back to share with you guys something that happened yesterday. And it was really scary for me. And I don't know. So yesterday, we're just going about our day, hanging out. Me and Bam. Billy was still in Texas. He was on his way home that day actually. And I was just, hanging out, and I get a phone call on my cell phone. And it was like an automated voice messaging thing that said, this is the IRS, and you have, what did they say? Something about, what did I tell you they said? I don't remember anymore.
You've committed tax fraud? Yes,
I've committed tax fraud, and they were going to take me to court, or something along those lines. And I was like, oh gosh, and I heard IRS is going to take me to court. I was like, okay, I better call them back. So they set a number, so I called that number back, and when I called that number back, this Indian lady, at least I believe she told me more details about, you have committed tax fraud, it happened between a 5-year span, and I don't know, just a bunch of stuff. And then I was like, well, how do I take care of it? And she goes, well, you need to take care of it immediately, or there will be officers at your door within 24 hours to take you to jail. That's when I was like, wait, what? Take me to jail? Like, I'm pretty positive we've been paying our taxes, like we've been getting tax returns, like, what do you mean you're gonna take me to jail? Which I didn't say this because I was like shocked and nervous. At that time I wasn't even thinking this. I was just like, oh my god, I'm going to jail. I'm like panicking. And I was like, well, how do I take care of it? Like, I don't want to go to jail. I'm like, how much do I owe? And she was like, it was like a little under $12,000. I was like, whoa, what? $12,000? And she's like, ma'am, are you gonna be able to make this payment today? I was like, no, I don't have that kind of money. She's like, well, there will be an officer at your door within 24 hours if we are not able to take care of this immediately. I was like, huh? What? I'm like, I don't have that kind of money. I just don't. No, we don't have that. And she was like, oh, well, let me connect you to my senior officer. So then she connected me to this other Indian guy, and he kind of repeated what she said, and then he said, we need to take care of this immediately, yada yada yada, you're gonna go to jail. And then I was like, well, how long would I, like, what do you mean? They're like, well, if you don't pay this immediately, they kept saying immediately, you can go to jail for 2 to 4 years or something like that. And I'm just sitting here like panicking. I start crying because I'm so like stressed out and overwhelmed by this information. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go to jail. Holy cow. Billy's not even here. Like, what's gonna happen to Bam? Like, I'm panicking. I'm like, what do you mean I'm gonna go? I'm like, I can't go to jail. I'm like, what can I do to take care of this? And he said, well, I'm gonna need you to get in your car. No, first he goes, how much can you give? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I'd have to talk to my husband. Can I give my husband a call? And he was like, no, we don't want you contacting any outside parties. And I was like, well, he's my husband. Like, I can't give you a big amount of money without talking to my husband about it. And he just kept insisting I'm not allowed to talk to anyone. If I get off the phone, and the call gets disconnected, every 2 to 3 minutes this recording goes to a sheriff, and they'll be at my door within 24 hours. And I forgot to mention, when we first started the call, they knew my first name, my last name, and my social. So it just made it feel very...
The last 4 of your social.
Last 4 of my social, yeah. And it just made me even more panicked. Like, it sounded so real. Looking back, I was like, really, like, so fake. But in that moment, they scare you so much, and they have that little bit of information that makes you think that, oh my god, I'm really gonna go to jail. That's all that kept going through my mind. So basically all this stuff happens, and they tell me that I need to go to a location, and they give me an address, and it was an address to a local CVS, and they said, we need you to go to this address. And I was like, okay, why? And they're like, we will tell you when you get there. So they didn't even tell me why or what I need to do at this address. I didn't even know it was a CVS at the time. And I was like, okay. And that's when kind of red flags went up. Like, I'm not about to go anywhere to meet I don't know who, to do I don't know what. Like, definitely not with my child. No thank you. And I'm like, well, okay, well, let me get dressed, let me get my child ready, and just let me give you a call back. And they're like, oh no, you cannot hang up the phone call. If this call gets disconnected, there will be sheriffs at your house for 24 hours, yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well then, hold on a second. And they're like, please leave the phone on speaker at all times. And I'm, okay, alright, whatever. So I put him on mute, and I tried to call Billy. Billy was probably at the airport, busy, you know, getting ready to get his flight. I'm not sure, whatever you were doing. And he wasn't picking up his phone. So I was like panicking. I'm like, oh my god, like, what am I gonna do? This person, at this point, like, I was scared that it might be real, but after they told me to go somewhere, I was like, this can't be real. But I need, like, someone to tell me, like, calm down, it's okay, it's not real, you know? So I called him, he didn't pick up. So then I called his mom, she didn't pick up. I called his dad, he didn't pick up. I thought about calling my parents, but I feel like I would just get more panicked. So I decided, okay, I need to do something. So I texted him. I was like, I need to get a hold of him. I texted him and called him one more time, and then sure enough, he called me on the house phone. So I'm talking to him, the other guy on the phone, meanwhile, every like 2 or 3 minutes, because this was over maybe 5 minutes, every like minute or two he would call and check in. He would say, ma'am, are you still there? Hamali, are you still there? And I was like, yes, just hold on 1 second, I gotta change his diaper. Or like I would, you know, try to prolong this getting ready period. And I was just trying to make calls. I wasn't really getting ready to go anywhere. And when he calls me back, the guy once again says, are you there? You do not hang up on me, Hamali, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay. And I accidentally actually hung up on him. So he calls me back right away and says, Hamali, why did you hang up on me? Why did you hang up on me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it was an accident. And he was like, it's okay, are you in your car yet? And I was like, what? And he wanted me to get in the car and leave the phone on speaker until I got to this location. So I was on the phone with Billy, and I said, hold on 1 second. I put him on mute, was talking to Billy, and I said, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm sure you could tell I was visibly, like, stressed out, and like I was crying and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This guy is telling me I'm going to go to jail, that I need to go to this location to pay him something, but he won't even tell me what I, like, he won't tell me anything. And, like, I was just stressed out. I explained the situation to him. And you know, of course, he calms me down. He says it's okay. He's totally not real. I read about it, you know. What did you say?
Yeah, the first thing when she said IRS, I knew it was a scam because it's been a lot of articles coming out lately, and then it was like, obviously, as you guys hear the story, not being in this situation, you know it's a scam. It's always easier when you're outside the situation. And then she was like, they're saying that they owed $11,000. She's being very frantic, and she was like, I'm not gonna go to this location, which was good. Like, that was the red flag that she obviously knew was there's no way she was gonna leave the house to go to that location. My first thought was two things, because she said that we can't pay with a credit card. So one, I knew it was just a fraud all from the start, but I thought it was a kidnapping thing, because like the location at the time was an odd location, and they didn't tell her where it was at, so she just knew an address. Right. So I was under the impression that it was a kidnapping thing, so I was trying to get further information from whoever was trying to either kidnap or some kind of take money from us. It didn't appear that they needed money. We didn't figure that out until later. but they said that we owed $11,000 to her, $5,000 today or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I tell her, hey, it's a fraud. She's like, how do you know it's a fraud? I said, I just read articles about it, and, you know, the IRS just doesn't behave like this. So then I send her to, I tell her to type this into Google so she can read it and kind of calm down, because it's actually on the IRS website that they've been having a lot of frauds this year. Like, August had a record number of fraud calls.
Yeah.
And so that kind of calmed her down a little bit. And then the guy is still on the line, so I'm like, well, here, babe, three-way me into the line. And so she three-ways me into the line. And now, mind you, this guy's been calling her for probably like 10 minutes off and on, just constantly calling.
Well, I'd been on the phone with him for about 20, 30 minutes now.
Yeah, and he just kept calling. And so she three-ways me into the conversation. And he's being very aggressive with her. And I go, hello, sir, my name is Officer Derek Coleman. I'm with this government agency. I'm not going to tell you guys what government agency I pretended to be. But I'm with this government agency, and Hamali just reached out to us in concerns to some money that was owed, and I just need a case number. So please just proceed with a case number. I have a direct line to the IRS. I just want to confirm the visibility, or I want to confirm that this case is accurate and we have the right person here. So then, like, this guy gets super frantic. He's like, what? He's like, huh? He's like, what? He's like, wait, what, huh? And then I go, yes. He's like, well, I'm gonna put you on hold really quick. I gotta get my senior officer, or whatever he says. So then he puts us on hold, and while we're on hold, which I'm sure he just put us on mute, I keep talking to Hamali. I said, Hamali, please have no need to fear. We will make sure we get to the bottom of this and make sure that everything is okay. This federal agency is very pleased to assist you in this matter. And so she's like, thank you. And then, like, we wait for, like...
And mind you, when the first part, I knew it was Billy, but we were waiting for a couple seconds, like, for him to get back to us. So in this moment, I kind of almost forget. And when Billy gets back on the line, I really think it's a federal agent, because, like, he sounded so legit. And I was like, oh, thank you, officer. I was, like, so, like, relieved. I thought I was actually talking to a federal agent. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and then the guy, we ended up having to hang up the phone, because I think they hung up on us, and they hadn't called back since.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things that, you know, we wanted to bring awareness to. Obviously, this is a huge scam.
Yeah.
They just posted it on IRS August 11th this year, that they were having increasing numbers. This group is a group in India that actually, it's not a kidnapping organization. So if you type in YouTube IRS scam or Indian IRS scam, you'll find a lot of people who have actually posted the calls. Yeah. We searched the address that they gave Hamali. It was actually an address to a CVS, and they often ask people to go to these addresses, or they ask them just to go to, they usually say, is there a CVS or a Rite Aid near you? And they have people go to the CVS or the Rite Aids. They get them to get a money card, and then they give the money card numbers. They can't take credit card numbers. I think there's a couple reasons. Credit card numbers, if they're being used, they can be tracked. Things can get denied. You can talk to your credit company and really kind of pinpoint where this activity is being broadcasted or being done at. But obviously, rule number one, which Hamali did really great on, is never go anywhere that anybody tells you to go. I think obviously these people are having a lot of successful attacks, so it's very easy to be like, that would never happen to me. You know, I would never fall for that, or I'm not that gullible. Like, they're getting about 30 to 40,000 people.
They're actually very convincing. At first, you really honestly think that, like, oh my God,
well,
like, this is real.
It catches you off guard too, right? So
right.
Like, you're in the middle of your day, you're washing dishes, you're doing something, and you're not on right now. So like you're not on as far as aware that this is about to, your couple minutes of your day are about to get really intense. So it takes you from 0 to 100 very quickly, and that's how people get you. So just know, I mean, and I think the more that people are aware of it, when they like hear these calls come through, the more that they will, you know, be able to catch it in the moment. Another thing is they call you, so they mask their number, so they call you from it would appear that they're actually calling you from the official 1-800 IRS number, because they've masked their number. So when you call back, they actually give you a different number to call back, but it's very similar to the IRS number. But if you're in the moment, those are things you might miss. So their line is off right now. But they call from 1-811-829-1040.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's obviously a super fake number. But, like, those are things in the moment that people might not catch. And they don't know because a lot of people don't deal with the agencies. They didn't read the article like I read the article.
Yeah.
So just be aware of it. Never let any government person... The IRS on their website has this thing. It's like a list of things that they will do and they won't do. And they specifically says we will not, like, contact you and threaten you with money. Like, that's not ever going to happen. Like, immigration isn't going to do that. The FBI isn't going to do that. The DOA isn't going to do that. So there's a lot of different things that people aren't going to do. But, like, that's how people prey on people.
Yeah.
So just be safe. Be aware. And it might happen to you. It actually happened to, like, Pinky, one of her closest
one of my friends. Yeah.
So, and it's funny because when we looked at the YouTube videos, like, she was already calm after I pretended to be that federal agent and they hung up and stopped calling.
Yeah.
But, like, you can actually hear the operation on YouTube. There's a couple of people who call them and prank them.
And you can tell it's the same people because they say the same stuff.
Jenny Anderson or Scott Anderson, and they're obviously
they're
like
always
these
Anderson.
foreign people. Yeah, it's like, you're not a Scott Anderson. You're not a, you know,
Right.
like, but yeah. So it's just a very silly operation that they're running. Don't fall
Scary.
for it.
It's really scary.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we actually were in it. And Hamali is like, she is gullible.
Yeah, I am
she's
gullible.
But like, she's not super gullible. Like, she
I'm not that gullible when it comes
she's
to
like a regular
bigger
person.
things,
Yeah,
you
she's
know?
a regular person. She's like, just like I am. We're both regular people, and she will, like, I would have fell for it if I wasn't, well, I would have fell for it if I wasn't aware of it already, probably. Right. So it's like, never think that you are above falling for stuff, because these people are professionals. So,
right.
or they do it every single day, and they're making a lot of money from it. So
there, yeah. So yeah, that's why we wanted to let you guys know what's going on, because I was scared out of my mind, and I would hate for this to happen to someone else, because it was a scary situation. So I don't know, I hope it doesn't happen to you guys, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. Don't fall for it when someone says you're gonna go to jail because of the IRS needs $12,000. Don't do it.
yeah.
It's not real, I promise you.
With that being said,
what?
With that being said,
we will see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.